Welcome to Workshop Wednesdays in Life Unpacked with Mel. Today we have a super special workshop that we're doing, which is a free workshop that we've advertised just to give people a little taste of what we do and what we've been up to. Today's workshop is called Finding Your Inner Compass. So the reason why out of all the workshops that we could pick to do this, and it's interesting that this is number 51 of all the workshops that we've done, that we come to this one because finding your inner compass you think would be something that we would probably talk about first. And yet in everything that we've done, I think that even writing this today, that beautiful tribute to come back to trying to simplify things, to make it just so beautifully easy to understand the truth of being connecting to our compass and what we want and that direction that we need is so essential for us to live. And it's from such a soul honoring space and a really authentic space. So I'm really excited to present this to you today. It is the outline of it is like around about an hour, give or take, depending on questions and how long we talk. We'll do questions afterwards and then see where we go from there. So again, of course, if you need clarity, please jump in and ask me, because sometimes if you have a question that you're thinking, someone else will have that same question. So I'm Mel, I'm a kinesiologist and I suppose a holistic life coach in lots of ways. I've done this job for nearly 30 years. And the reason why we do these workshops is because what I found that so many people would come in here with very similar stories or very similar blocks or fears or ways why they didn't support themselves, but also feel like they were the only one. And so from being able to listen to people's stories and unpack, so I talk about how I work is I try and find why someone's stuck or why something's happening or why a pattern is repeating in their life or why we do what we do. And to do that, it's being able to step back to find the truth for you. Now, even though we all have individual stories, we feel we all have that inner voice that speaks to us in a really negative way, or we all have things that we feel bad about or things that we do that we don't know how to support ourselves in. And I found such a uniqueness over, or a commonality, I suppose, across the board with people that I thought, and I wrote a book years ago in bringing it together, it was able to be able to listen to someone else's stories. I think we get so much more out of that. I think if instead of being kind of talked at, if we relate the same story to, hey, someone else does this, I do this too, it really brings a self-assurance in it that we can have some kind of hope that we're going to be able to change it or support ourselves differently. And that's why I work this way. And that's why I think it becomes so powerful and successful in so many ways, because it's a very safe, gentle, absolute non-judging space, because we sometimes unpack, ways of life that people do, things that when we relate to, it's things that we don't often talk about in public, if that makes sense. So that said, mindful of the time, I don't believe that we can change things properly unless we understand how we got there in the first place. So everything we do is unpacking how we got there, and that's exactly what we're going to do with finding our inner compass. So why did I want to do Find Your Inner Compass? I think because for me, we are searching for answers. We search for answers in talking to people, in trying to understand why we do the things we do, in books we read, in going to psychics, in so many ways we're trying to find more out about ourselves. But the person that we listen to the least in that quest is ourselves. And the person that has the answers that are going to make the most sense to us is ourselves. So finding your inner compass is a real beautiful step out to pause life, to then come back to go, hey, I'm going to kind of float me up to the surface of the people in my life that I'm going to listen to and give some kind of confidence to find the answers that I need for myself. So that's why it's so important to me for this workshop, because we look to everyone else for an answer. And often when you find an answer, we'll still try it, but it doesn't resonate. And we kind of know it doesn't resonate before we try it, but we still do it anyway because we don't have the confidence to support ourselves. So have a think while I go through these. In my clinic, this is what I see often. And again, this is why I came back to wanting to do this. Many people come here feel lost. It's a concept. It's a word that people say, I feel really lost. So if you check in with you, it's like, how many times have you gone through a situation where you just don't have a direction? So the example I kind of have in how we're so lost from our inner compass is, if I popped you in the middle of the ocean and there was an island somewhere, but you didn't know where it was, you have to trust your inner compass to find your direction to the island. You can't see it. How would you go? And for most of us, we're like, I'm terrified of doing that because I don't trust that I would be able to. I actually think I would choose the wrong direction. I'm pretty guaranteed that I think that I would choose the wrong direction. That's how much we don't trust ourselves. And that's being able to really tune in to resonate with our inner compass. And we've been brought up to not trust ourselves. So people come in here in their all ages, but particularly in their late 20s. And a big thing they say is, I haven't got my life together, which is an expectation that we have. You're meant to have your life together. And that's a whole another workshop that could be unpacked. What does that mean? But it's the feeling I haven't got my life together. So it means that I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what my purpose is or my direction. I feel like I'm existing, not living. That's one I get all the time. Just ticking the boxes of life, doing the mum jobs or the work jobs or the partner jobs or the whatever jobs, and I'm not connecting to my purpose. I am so busy, I don't know what I want. I can't make decisions and I second guess everything. So even though you're in a situation where you could make a change, you don't trust yourself that the change that you would make would be the right one. So you second guess it. So you go back into the circle of not being able to do stuff. Does that resonate with anyone?
Yeah.
I have everything that I could possibly want. I've ticked all the boxes of happiness, yet something's wrong with me because I don't feel like I'm connected or something's wrong. I just don't feel right in my life. That happens more often than not. More often than not. People really, we think that once we've achieved what we're meant to achieve in the whole expectations of life, that we should then be able to find ourselves and be happy and I've got it all together, and that there's something really missing. And often we find the truth of that is that you're not connected to yourself or your reason why or your story or understanding yourself. And so there's a real disconnect even while we're trying to get through life, which is why we're doing this workshop. More often when people see me, a life bomb went off. So a life bomb to me is something that drastically, absolutely changes your life, that leaves you feeling really completely lost. A life bomb could be a long-term illness that happens. It's a massive change of plan. Someone could die, a partner could leave. A life bomb is something that drastically, dramatically changes your life, and you have no idea how to support yourself or connect with, I don't understand why this would happen to me. And so then we go down that rabbit hole of feeling like it's not fair, like it really happened to me and I'm stuck, and it connects with the abandonment and the unloved and the not important, and it puts us in that real fight to try and pull ourselves out of that because we get stuck in that. And then we compare ourselves to everyone else's life and what they have, and we get double stuck in that because we're not connecting to us being the solution, and then we try and find what everyone else did. So I know, particularly when Steph was really sick, the not being able to sit in that, the amount of things that we tried to try and help be the solution for that wasn't actually tuning into what felt right. There's more a desperation in something to fix something before we can actually feel the answer come in. We try and fix it. That's how we've been brought up to do that. So yeah, kind of like you've been dumped in the middle of the ocean and you have to swim to shore. It's the only job you've got and you have to get to shore. Which way do you go? So if now that we kind of know that we're all a little bit messy in absolutely knowing our inner direction or our inner compass, what is your inner compass? So for me, when I really kind of sat and tuned into that, I was like, for me, and jump in because it might be different for you, peace, a feeling of peace. So peace in chaos, peace. It's like, I've got me. It means it doesn't matter what happens, even a life bomb, it's okay. It's just okay. I know I'm going to be able to find my way through it with me. Clarity. So clarity is, I wrote in here, hang on, let me see. Clarity is, it's like clarity of my story, of my life, of the why. So clarity, it's like, there's a reason this happened. There's a why behind why this would happen. And so the clarity also and peace, like they're kind of best friends, aren't they? When you have, when you bring them together, it's, there's a knowingness for me in that. So the peace, I'll just go back because I had more notes on that, is I'm able to be okay with everything. So it's like where I find the answers, there's peace in finding an answer. And there's going to be one in the peace that makes sense to me, not that we're trying to find an excuse or a blame. Someone did something. I'm trying to find why would that be part of my story instead of it happened because this person did this or whatever. It's like, why is that part of my story? So inner direction is really connecting to our story, what we're learning, the whole picture of us, which is, of course, disconnected at that moment from other people. The last one I had, so I had peace, clarity, and direction. And so direction is the knowingness. It's a word for me. I use it a lot. Knowingness is I think the combination of peace and clarity, the knowingness that you're on the right path. So it's my ease to make decisions. There's a whole, we have done a workshop on making decisions, but the ease to make decisions does not come easily for so many people because we bring so many things into that space. And the ability to see connections. So it's like, oh, that's why that person would come into my life. That's why this would happen to me. That's why I would be moving. That's why whatever. So it kind of combines all of them for me. So there's your inner compass. Your inner compass to me is your peace, your clarity, and your direction. Combination of all of those. So I wrote in that there's a confidence when you're connected to your inner compass in a knowingness in what to do next in your life, no matter what. Because we know ourselves, we know what we need, and we know how to support ourselves. Is there anything that anyone would add to that they would think a word or something?
Trust. I suppose that's part of the knowingness.
I think that comes in with that. It's like a self-trust. I think that's a beautiful word to add in or add that because it's trust is such a powerful word, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit because the fact that we don't trust ourselves is a real big part of disconnecting from our inner compass. So it's the confidence and knowingness. I think we can use the trust that we know what to do next for ourselves. So we could kind of tuck all that in together. Thanks. That's a really beautiful addition to that. So why finding your inner compass is so important to me, it's like now it's like I'm giving you a boat to put you on top of the water. So even if we don't know which way it is to shore, if you're in a boat, you feel better. You kind of know you're going to make it. It's just, you can see, you can bring in all the senses, you can have the time to process things. There's less panic in trying to make that decision because we're not just bobbing in the ocean anymore, fear-based that we're not making it, but we're in a boat. It gives us more space to be able to feel into which way we go and all of that kind of stuff. I was thinking when I was writing this, hang on, I'll come back to that. But I was thinking when I was writing this, if I was in the ocean by myself, if I was at least in a boat, there'd be a little bit more peace for me because I'd be, okay, I can kind of work it out. I'm going to have a little sit with myself and see how I feel. When we add people that we're responsible for, whether it be loved ones, family, friends, all of that, I can't find that peace. because I don't want to let them down, or I don't want to upset them, or I don't want them to die, or I don't want to lead them astray. So I would second guess the direction I would pull them in. Like, let's swim this way wouldn't be a confident choice for me unless I could see the island. Do you know what I mean? So I can't just trust that. So when I add people that I care about into me trying to support myself to make a decision from my inner self, I would be in a total panic. I was like, wow, that's so interesting to connect with, for me, how I would feel at the moment in trying to trust that inner compass, which I'm going to ask you guys to do in a sec. The two other things I added in that is, it's finding your inner compass is so important because it connects you to authentic you. And authentic you is just you in its absolute entirety, your truth and your values. In that space, the person, if you're connected to you, your truth and your values, the person that has the answers for you is always going to be you. Absolutely, in that space. We would never leave that space to find the answer, because we might ask a question and you might have a suggestion, but I'm not going to do your suggestion unless I bring that back in and it feels right to me. That's the inner compass. I'm pulling it in to check in to see where that lands and where that feels. So if you check into your life right now, how do you feel that your inner compass is going in certain situations? Because we have our inner compass, for ourselves, and it could be with our career, and then it could be with our partners, then it could be with our friends, then it could be with our families. It's a very different situation with all of those. That's what I'm saying. It's like who else is in your boat when you're trying to connect with your inner compass is going to make a difference for you. Does that kind of make sense? So for you, how often do you feel lost or disconnected or stuck? Or how often do you second guess yourself or the decisions that you're making in certain things?
Just more often than I'd like.
Often than you'd like. Yeah, I really, and this is why I thought, wow, this is really important, because we really are disconnecting from what the truth of that is and the ease of being able to do that. And so when we think about it, and there's some beautiful tips at the end of how to do this, so stay tuned. It means that we're going to simplify it fast to be able to do it, because it's really important. So understanding the disconnect. Why do we lose our inner compass? So first and foremost, when we unpack things, for me, I talk about belief systems a lot. So between the ages of 2 to 7, we create every single belief system that we'll have in our life, and we repeat them. It's just our foundation. So everything comes back to childhood in so many ways. And that's not a blame. It's a curiosity of how we got to where we got to. And particularly if you think of a little kid that is, between the age of 0 and 2, they're born, the only focus they have, bless their little souls, is on them. They want to be fed, they want to be changed, they want to be played with, they want to be hugged. They just have that, but it's not selfish so much, it's self-aware. They just have a beautiful self-awareness because they're meant to, because they're trying to survive. And, we come to have an experience on earth to understand ourselves. So, of course, where we bring our young up, we're going to change that. So this is why this isn't a blame thing. But if we go back to the facts, and that's why we do this, take emotion out, let's look at the facts. Let's talk about trust, the first one that we do. So trust, we absolutely lose connection with our intuition, because when we're little kids, we often think we're wrong. So I remember, as when you have an older sister or an older brother, or you have, parents, or you're using your intuition. And we've talked about this, like little kids that are very in tune with their intuition, but parents very much want to protect their child from being upset or being hurt. So I know parents that, you buy a goldfish if the goldfish dies, because you don't want to upset your kids. Like, you absolutely, of course, you do that. Except the kid, is that a different goldfish? No, he's just changed, or she's just changed a little bit, all of that. because it's the beautiful space that we want to protect our kids from pain as long as we can. Grief is such a big emotion to deal with. And so, you know, when someone's unwell or are you mad? Like, how many times are you mad, Mum? No, I'm not mad. Are you mad? Hell yes, I'm so mad. I'm so mad, but I'm going to tell you I'm not because, you know, it's between me and your father or me and someone else. So I'm not going to bring you into that space. So little kids have an intuition, but they're also told they're wrong all the time. And so the thing that creates is doubt. I doubt I got it wrong. And yet, if I thought grandma was sick and grandma died, I actually got it right, but I still learned to distrust my intuition in that process. And maybe on top of that, I don't want to challenge that because I don't want to upset anyone. And so these are the things that we learn when we're little. So we also weren't allowed to problem solve. Someone's going to come in and help us, fix us, make it better for us, you know, all of the things. So it's a slow process of problem solving. And too often kids come in at 18 and all of a sudden they get handed all the responsibilities and they're like, oh, I don't know what happens now. Like, why am I doing all of this stuff? I didn't do that. So problem solving when we're little, because we're caring so much for people that we care about, it's just one of the things that happens along the way. Again, don't think this is saying that we do it wrong. It's just interesting to explore how we get here. Everyone knew more than us. So the teacher knows more, the doctor knows more, the parent, the older siblings. So we now look to others for the answers. So this is really prevalent in being able to follow our intuition or finding my inner compass. I've lost connection with that. I don't trust that. I'm going to ask someone else that knows more than me. Even now, when we have something going on in our life, we try and find the person that's going to give us the answer. In everything, in every single way. Even if you're trying on a dress, it's like, do I look good? So we second guess so many things in us, and we come back to that pattern. We weren't encouraged to question when we were little. So if you question things, sometimes you got in trouble, or at school you just had to deal with the facts, or you had to follow the rules. So when you follow the rules, instead of questioning, we're conforming, which means we have to stop our minds from trying to find solutions that aren't the solutions that we've been given. This is the answer. And so even, you know, when you write essays and things like that, it's the rules. You follow the rule of how to write the essay. And so that we're limiting in us being able to explore things the way that we want to do it in so many ways. And then we go from, you know, our whole school experience is following, you know, the next achievement and the next achievement and the next achievement. And then we get to school. What's the question that everyone asks in year 12? What are you going to do next year? Like, you have to have the plan in so many ways. What are you going to do at uni? What are you going to be when you grow up? And we start writing that, you know, you write that in kinder. What do you want to be when you grow up? We have this, you know, concept. And so we're not encouraged to be able to just be in the moment to see where life takes us. My favorite word I talk about a lot is the word selfish. So if you have been brought up with the word selfish, it means that you have been reprimanded for doing something really for yourself. And so what happens is you will create a pattern of self-abandonment. So you become invisible to yourself. Your ability to support yourself is now diminished because you actually want to make sure that everyone else sees you as being selfless, because that's where our love and approval is now coming from. In so many ways, we're set up to totally disconnect from ourselves. And it just continues. If you keep thinking about all of these ways, it just continues. Not to make you sad, but to make you realize just how deep and ingrained this is for us. Good girl, good boy, and people pleasing. When we're, you know, the minute that you get good girl, good boy, and of course we're still doing this. We're all going to do this, but it creates a people pleasing path for me that I'm going to look at you for their validation to make me feel like I'm doing the right thing. So I didn't check in, I get the praise. And so this is, I call it outside in. We're creating outside in space of where our love and approval comes from. So it rather than it comes from us, it comes from other people and things and what we achieve and what we do, which absolutely disconnects me from trusting that I'm going to get it right. So I'm going to follow. So many people get to uni, and they do their uni course. The dropout for what you first pick at uni is enormous because you followed the path of what you should do and the people pleasing path and the, I got the marks to get into this, this is what I'm doing. But now it gets to the point that it doesn't feel right. When we do start checking in with our inner compass, we either sabotage it or it doesn't feel right for us. And then we have that almost kind of life breakdown that we feel completely lost and something's wrong with us and we don't know what we're doing. And it's not a good feeling when we try to follow what feels right that way. It's a total kind of meltdown, lost it, don't know where I'm going, totally don't know where I fit. And it comes with a real self-judgment. So we're not doing it in a supported space. Does that kind of make sense? So that's the childhood kind of part. The next part I added into that is let's talk about life experiences. So how does living without our inner compass affect us? So if you think about that, it's like if I now, and this is us, and we live from this whole experience, and there's probably more that we can add in, but it's enough to get the gist of why we've got to where we've got. We live disconnected from ourselves. So we often have that, it just doesn't feel right, and yet we don't know what to do with that. We know it's not right, but we don't know what to do with it. So it just kind of doesn't really feel right. But, I'm at work or I'm stuck in a job. People often say the words, I'm really stuck. Stuck in a job, stuck in a relationship, stuck at home. Like I want to travel, but I just don't know where I'm going to travel. So I'm second guessing everything I want to do, or I'm not being able to pinpoint my truth of what feels right. Frustrated. So when we try to do what we think is right, it's often right by the rules. So it's right that I go to uni, or it's right that I get married, or it's right that I do what I'm doing. I'm following a rule or an expectation, but it's not really my truth. But I don't know how to connect with what my truth is. So I'm just following what I should do, which means I end up down the path of being really lost, so disconnected from myself. So then I try and get fit in or love or try and get the feeling that I need. I still now have to get that off other people, which actually digs a hole for me to get further lost in it because I'm so not present to myself at all. Avoidance patterns. So because we don't know how to deal with that, instead of me being able to step out to go, hey, this isn't right for me, I've totally got to adjust some things in my life, I am going to not be able to process my emotional reaction. So I can get depressed or I can be really angry. People that are really snappy and angry all the time. And that's like, why are you angry? They don't know. They're just angry. It's like I'm just frustrated and angry and pushing back and all of that because I don't know how to recognize that it doesn't feel right for me. So it doesn't feel right. It's coming out in all of the ways in my explosions and behavior and frustration, but I can't actually work out why that is. The next part that we've talked about is also in our bodies holding it. So if we're not connected to the right path or what's happening or understanding our stories, our body's going to reflect that to us. And so that's why people get, you can get sick, you can have shorter long-term illnesses, you can break your ankle when you're trying to do something or go somewhere or, I think I knew the story. It's like when my daughter moved out and everyone's like, oh my God, how are you going to be, when she moves out? And I was like, I'm fine. It's really good for her. I'm so happy for her. It's great. And then it was it was just before she moved out. I was mucking around, of course, with my brother and I fractured my foot and spent the next 8 weeks in a boot of my left foot. So the example I'm, using is our bodies are going to reflect what's happening with us. And it's a beautiful way for us to kind of connect into our truth when we can't find what it is, because we want to be okay. Wanting to be okay doesn't mean you're okay. You just want to be, because you don't know how to deal with the grief or the emotion that you're going through, because we've not actually been shown how to do it. So we avoid it and we say, I'm fine. How many times? How are you? I'm good. I'm fine. It's okay. Don't worry about me. So these are the words we use to totally dismiss our truth because we can't find it. And so then often our body can reflect that if it's going to be part of our story we're meant to explore, which can become from an injury or also can become from an illness, chest infections, that kind of thing, all the things that we've talked about in Body Talk. Overworking or numbing behaviors. So they're just another way that we avoid ourselves. So people are, living without our inner compass, people exist to not live. So what I mean by that is, you go to work and you rush home from work and then you do that. I'm so exhausted because I've worked, and you quickly try and eat dinner so you can get to the couch and watch TV for as long as you can before you go to bed, before you do it all tomorrow. And yes, while I know that that's a tick of how people relax and that's what their life is, if you think, how would we live without TV? We gain an extra 8 or 6 to 8 hours a day that we can do things. We have this concept that you can't go out on a school night, because it's a school night or a work night. We call it school night, but still a work night. So we're now avoiding our experiences. And so we're literally existing in that pattern. And then we get to the point that we exist for, 50 weeks of a year and spend 2 weeks on holidays where we absolutely don't watch TV, have a ball, go out, talk to people, relax, really connect with ourselves, because, no one knows who we are. We're on holidays. We don't care what people think. And then we come back and we go back to existing. So knowing the difference of how we behave in our free time on holidays compared to our work week is a really interesting check-in to be able to do, to see, wow, what's my truth in my connection? Because this existing part is us really avoiding ourselves in so many ways. You could go home from work and you could do a crystal healing or a sound meditation or listen to music or light a campfire outside from 8 to 10 and still be in bed by 10 o'clock. Put fire out, but you can, so many things that we could add into that space that we don't, because it's a work night, so I've got to do the same pattern, so I've gone into existing. We don't challenge ourselves. Because of that too, how does living without our inner compass affect us? We can't find the buzz. It's my absolute favorite one of the lines that we use. Finding the buzz means that it's the feeling that when someone talks to you and they say, oh, I'm learning French, you're like, oh, you feel that? I want to learn French. And then the very next thought that pops in is like, oh, I couldn't do that. I wouldn't be good at that. I don't have the time for that. So we squish the buzz. We're absolute buzz squishers in our own life. And so it's recognizing the buzz when it comes in, when you hear what other people are doing, or you see what people do, what people talk about, travel or adventure or life. It wakes up the soul. It wakes up that inner compass that's like in there, squished under all of the I can't do this stuff, going, help me, I want to do things. It's that's the little part of you that's talking to you, and that we have to nurture that part of us. And so we're going to talk about how we do that in a sec. But the buzz is real. It's so real for each of us. We've just got really good at squishing it. And we absolutely follow the quick buzz with I can't do that. Or that's not for me, or it's not time for me, or whatever. But we squish it. So why can't we get our inner compass back? So because of the conditioning in childhood that we spoke about before. So these are just some little things I wrote which kind of sum up what we were talking about. I can't trust myself. I always think I'm going to get it wrong. So because of that, my confidence in my decision-making abilities it's not very high. And for me to actually be able to make a decision, I'm probably going to ask everyone else. And if I'm really caught in the people pleasing, I may end up doing what you say rather than doing what feels right to me. Which means I've totally abandoned the buzz, which means then I'm going to be frustrated, which means then I'm probably going to be mean to you because I'm totally disconnected from my inner compass. And I'm going to be grumpy in a job that I don't really like, or wherever, what I'm doing, which We've met grumpy people. They're just not connected to their little buzz. Why can't we get out of why can't we get our inner compass back again? We need to fit in with everybody else. Huge. We know that. We absolutely abandon ourselves to fit in with other people. We don't. So I was going to say, put your hands up if this is any of you. We don't want to upset people. Yeah. Guilt. Yeah. I'm guilt. Oh God, I've got to do that. Guilty. People pleasing. Absolute expert at that. The word. Then these are words you say. I've got to do the right thing. That's absolutely. I've totally abandoned listening to myself. I have to do the right thing. God knows where that comes from and whose rule that is and what the right thing is. But it's not the check-in for me of the right thing. It's totally someone else's right. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. I have no needs. We live from having no needs, and it's like the less needs we have, the more we can be celebrated. We think that's not true, but the more we think people will, like and celebrate us until we get to the point that no one cares about us. Oh, you didn't really care that I didn't come to your birthday. Wasn't there. I didn't turn up to something that was special, to the point that no one came and you're sitting in the corner crying, but it's okay because, I said, don't worry about me so many times that you believed me to not worry about me. I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to be annoying. So, it's fine. Oh, I'll just drive, or I'll get my own way there, or whatever. Why can't we get our inner compass back? Society's expectations. So the expectations we have of people at school, people really high elite or any sport people, work, expectations in work, in a marriage, in owning a house, in all the things that we should do in our life, when you're 25, you should have this. When you're 30, you should have this. If you're married, you should have a baby. If you got a baby, you should have another one. Like all of them. Travel, you should have traveled before you settle down. There's just, it's endless. Add to that the expectations that others in my immediate family or my immediate group and myself put on me. Have to be a good ... daughter, person, worker, nurse, teacher, real estate agent. The list is, the expectations that come with it is like a little package. So, if I'm sitting here with my little bag of expectations, but each role I play in my life has one, and before we even finish this conversation, let's add responsibilities to it. So it's like every role that you have in your life, if I challenged you and said, hey, you get 1 minute to write down the responsibilities that you have with motherhood, with being a daughter, with being a friend, with being someone at work, with being whatever role you play, change the hat for the role, owning a house, all of that, being a father, any of that. That list is huge. It's going to keep going. And so when we add expectations that we have in others, when we have responsibilities for life, the roles that we play in life, we hold those. Did you ask a question?
No.
Oh, sorry. When we have both of those in our hands, the expectations and responsibilities, how do I find my inner compass? I'm drowning. That's the ocean. I'm drowning in all of that. There's no way I can check in with me. And I can't check in with me because I don't want to be annoying. I don't have needs. I have to people please. I'd have guilt if I pulled you away from things. I need to fit in. I can't trust myself, when we go back over it. So it's just a repeating circle all of the time. We can bring it together. It's why that we really, really can't connect. The rules we follow that were made by other people for us to fall in line, not question and conform. So many decisions that you make in a day are an automatic decision that you do because you should or you have to, but it's a rule that you didn't make. And whether that be family, school, the role you play, whatever, often it comes from an unquestioned rule. So you do things because you have to or you should, So you've not checked in to see if that's actually truth, which again is because I need to fit in, I'm going to follow the rule that you made, which means I'm absolutely, again, totally dismissing my inner compass. I'm not connecting into that at all because I don't want to upset anyone. The next one I added in, so these are the bombs, the big ones of why. Judgment. Judgment from both myself and others. So what I do to avoid this or to win favorable judgment, to win validation. So judgment is something that when we're a little kid, it's not even being aware of it. It's just forced upon us. It's how we live on earth. It's literally you win or lose kind of concept. And so judgment then either makes me feel like I belong and I'm approved and I fit, or I'm not good enough and I shouldn't be part of whatever it is. And so I either get to feel great about myself, it's like snakes and ladders, refer to it like snakes and ladders game of life. So I get to feel good about myself or not good about myself. Because I'm so caught up in trying to be judged favorably by both myself and others, I'm only doing that, playing the snakes and ladders game with how people perceive me and how I perceive myself, rather than me being able to connect in to go, what feels right for me? What do I want to do? What's my need? What's happening for me right now? I'm doing the should and would and how I get more successful and where I fit in the world and all of that, which is the ladder of success, which we talk about. The other part of why we can't get our inner compass back, because once I've been living with the snakes and ladders game of feeling good about myself, the self-talk that I'm then introduced to that comes to that is often not supportive. Hands up if your self-talk is like, oh my God, you're amazing, you did so good, keep going, it's so good for you. Or if your self-talk is like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that, you're such an idiot. Or you wake up and the first thing you do when you get out of the shower is you say something awful to yourself, or you trying to get dressed or all of that. So our self-talk is absolutely destroying our ability to connect with our inner compass, because our self-talk is returning us to the ladder of not feeling good enough. So then the only way I can feel good enough is if you tell me that I'm good enough. But I'm also not going to believe it when you tell me, but I'm relying on it, but I'm still not going to believe it. So I'm pretty much in the hole, and I'm absolutely disconnected from me and what I'm doing, why I'm here. And competitive society, we live in a win-lose society. Even relationships, when we're having arguments with our partners, we win or lose it. How are you? I'm tired. Oh, I'm more tired. So it's a win-lose how we do our relationships. So it's all of it that we do. People come in here often, they go, I speak to my mum. I'm putting mums under the bus now, but every time I speak to my mum, I'm just trying to say like, oh God, it's been a lot. I'm trying to deal with this. Oh, I know when I did that, it was so hard for me. So it's even in our trying to support each other, we do it in a way that's really competitive, rather than doing it in a way going, wow, that must be really hard for you right now. Like, we don't hold the space, we compete. And so I'm now even denying you from connecting with your truth of going, wow, I'm really tired because I'm trying to do all this. I'm telling you off for connecting with how you feel, and then dismissing it and telling you it's not, well, mine was worse, so you should come back to make it better for me. So we've just, we're not just in this pattern by ourselves. Everyone else keeps us there as well. And we in turn keep everyone else there. So what messes with this is something I found really interesting. I looked up, because me in the dictionary, I looked up what makes a compass not work. And it said, it came up with, the reason your compass is not showing north is most likely due to it being subjected to a magnetic field that has polarized the needle. This is unfortunately fairly common in today's world, since we carry a lot of items that emit a magnetic field, such as mobile phones, GPS, and other equipment. I was like, oh yeah, that's interesting. That kind of makes sense. So then I thought, how would I reword that? So I reworded it to what messes with our inner compass to make it not work. The reason that your inner compass is not showing your true direction is most likely due to it being subjected to an emotional field that has blocked our direction. This is unfortunately fairly common in today's world since we carry a lot of people, and that blocks our inner connection to ourselves because of things such as responsibilities, rules, expectations, and judgment. Cute, hey? I was like, yeah, that's actually the absolute truth. Signs that you've lost connection with yourself. Difficulty making decisions. So tick this, this list if there's any of you. Difficulty making decisions. Second guessing choices. You don't know what to do next. You don't know how you feel about something. So often, I don't know how I should feel about that. It's like, yeah, because we've gone to how we should feel, no, rather than how we do feel. Because we can't find how we do feel because we don't want to upset anyone. So we're trying, and that's why we talk to friends and we try and work out how should I feel? I don't know how I should feel, instead of being able to go, how do I really feel? Feeling overwhelmed, anxious. So being anxious means that because I just don't know what's happening in my story, like I'm now trying to control things because I don't feel safe, because I don't trust the space is the right space for me. So anxiety is huge. A real purposelessness. So many people, I really want to find my purpose so that I feel like I'm not connected to my truth or what I should be doing is a big thing that people talk about. A pattern of self-doubt, negative self-talk, over people-pleasing, overthinking, asking for everybody else's opinion, having no boundaries, stuck in something that doesn't serve you. So work, a community, you could be in a community group that you can't get out of, a relationship, a friendship, something you can't move away from, feeling really frozen in something. You can't read signs. Life will give you signs. So you let you break your ankle when your daughter moves out. Oh, well, it's unfortunate. Then they're going, oh, that might mean something right there in my life that I probably should explore. Recurring illnesses. So these are the kind of things that are going to pop up when we've lost connection to ourselves. Creating a safe place to reconnect. So the power of self-awareness. Before we talk about how to reconnect, because of course that's the reason why we're all here, I want to talk about why you want to reconnect, because that's the most important thing. It's like you absolutely 100% want to love and look after yourself. I promise you that. You want to be the one for you. You want to connect with you and to do life with you and for you. But from all of this learning and teaching and conditioning we've had from childhood, we've absolutely abandoned our ability to be able to do that. So let me show you. So I want you to put down your pens for a moment and pause and take a breath and shut your eyes. I'm going to take you back to my favorite story. It's this story of the chocolate muffin, called the chocolate muffin story. I want you to imagine that you're a little kid sitting on a classroom floor with all the other little kids in the room, a prep classroom. So cute little 5-year-old prep classroom, sitting there, all the other little kids on your little crossed legs, a teacher's in front of you, and you're all about to have reading time. And a lady walks in, gorgeous little lady that comes in with a big basket, and she says, oh, hey, beautiful kids, I've got a surprise for you today. I bought you all chocolate muffins. And you can smell them. These muffins just smell amazing. They're warm, hot chocolate muffins. And so your little taste buds start to go and you're so excited. She goes around the room and she starts handing out these muffins to every single kid. She's like, one for you, one for you, one for you, one for you, one for the teacher, one for you, one for you. She gets to you. You're all ready with your little hands out. She looks you up and down. She bypasses you. She gives the muffin to the kid next to you. One for you, one for you, one for you, one for you. All right, beautiful kids. Everyone's got their muffin. Have the most amazing day. I'll see you all next week. And she walks out the door. How do you feel?
Horrible.
It's the most horrendous, absolutely abandoned, unloved, no one cares about me a lot. It's the absolute, that feeling that you have right now is your truth of how you want to feel. So the lady that is handing out the chocolate muffins is you, and all those little kids on the floor is every other person in your life. Is your friends, is your partners, are your kids, are your parents, is every other person in your life that you're looking after and giving muffins to, but you're sitting on the floor muffinless. Because the effort that you have to look after and love yourself, you don't give to yourself at all. It doesn't exist. You didn't even get a crumb. You didn't even get a promise of, oh, I'll bring your mum back. You got nothing. And so the way we feel when we totally ignore ourselves all the time is muffinless, sitting on the floor. It's that feeling that you had when we did that story. So this is why when we come back to go, before we talk about the power of self-awareness, you want to reconnect with yourself. You want to actually make sure that you give yourself a chocolate muffin, because you don't want to be that little kid sitting on the floor muffinless, and no one else is going to give you a muffin. Not the right muffin, not the real good muffin that you like. And if you don't like a chocolate muffin, it needs to be apple, change it to apple or change it to blueberry. But it's the story that you really need to connect with the truth of how you want to feel about yourself. So now that you know that you want to be the one for you and never be muffinless again, it's like, how do we become self-aware? So these are some little tips, and of course you will get all of these notes with the recording of this workshop. It's in listening. So that one of the first ways, I just wrote down some ideas. It's in listening to how we feel and how we react. So what pulls us in and what pushes us away. So when I talk to you, it's like exactly that. How did you feel when you were muffinless? You know how you felt. I didn't feel right. It's like, how do you feel in situations where someone talks about something? You feel either you feel pulled in or pulled out. Does that make sense? There's a knowing in us of what feels right. There's a knowing that we want to, when someone says, hey, I'm doing this on the weekend, do you want to come? You know if you want to come. Your decision is based on if you don't want to upset them or if you're going to have guilt, but you actually already knew what you wanted to do. And so it's paying attention to the first feeling, and then it's the thought, oh, but I can't say no, or I have to say yes, or I can't get out of that, or it's the family, some birthday or something that you didn't want to do. It's like what we're doing is we're just checking in to become self-aware at the moment. So it means what pulls you in, what gives you the feeling of, oh, yeah, I want to do that, and what gives you the, oh, God, I don't want to do that feeling. It's those. So it's listening to your body, what happens in your body to how you feel. Step back and listen to your words is the next part. So it's kind of the next phase of that. We use words in conversations. I can't, I have to, it's not fair, I can't believe that's happening. Like the words that you use in a conversation that you're speaking in a safe place to someone, listen to what you're saying, because we're often trying to get them to pull them into agree, but the choice of words that you use means something. So it's a really beautiful way to connect with your inner compass, because those words are going to tell you how you feel. I can't believe I have to go to this. You just know, you just told yourself exactly how you feel. So we're beginning to kind of put our little puzzle together to be able to own the truth. We're trying to find our truth. And often that's because we're trapped and stuck. They're the words that we're going to use. Listen to how we speak about our partners. It's really interesting when you listen to that, because you're like, oh, there might be some work I need to do in that space to return me to being able to try to make this a relationship where I support myself. My most favorite thing ever is turning your ladder sideways. So the quick explanation of that, when we talk about the ladder of judgment, so when you have a ladder, you can imagine that there's rungs. And so when we're competing, as we talked about before, we're trying to climb the ladder. So we're going to put someone else down so we can be better at them. So we're scrambling up a ladder to see where we fit. The concept that we have when we are removing judgment, because judgment is a big blocker in our life that we need to be able to reframe. So how we reframe it is, instead of having the ladder this way, we turn it sideways. So when we have a ladder sideways, instead of having rungs that we have to climb up, every single person in the world gets a square of that ladder. It's just a square, one next to it. It's kind of like, the movie things that you see, like the movie Reel or something. You all just get a square. Your square is your square. In your square, you can absolutely do it your way. It's your story. So for us to be able to find our inner compass, we have to step off the ladder. Absolutely reframe how we do the ladder of success and judgment. So if I'm in a square, I'm absolutely allowed to do it my way, which means I can't bring judgment in. I'm not wrong or right. I'm not competing. I'm not better or worse. I'm not failing. It's just my way, which also means where I am right now is where I am. Where I am is where I'm meant to be, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I can't bring in the, oh, well, but I'm 35, I should have, could have, I should have, or I'm 20, I should have, or I didn't get married, I should have had kids, or all of the should haves that we do cannot exist if your ladder's sideways, because your square is just how you're going to experience life. It's the most liberating, free thing. The most beautiful thing when we have a sideways ladder and you live in your square is I'm in my square, you're in your square. So now I can actually look out of my little square, peer up the little road and see you, but I see you. I see your authenticity. I see how you're doing it your way. And if there's something in there that resonates with me, I'm now going to get the buzz. Remember how we spoke about the buzz? This is how I find the real buzz. So if I see that you've been learning French and I'm like, oh, wow, you're learning French? Instead of me going, oh, I can never do that because I don't, my ladder's this way now. I'm like, oh, French, that's a buzz. So that real feeling, I can acknowledge that in that moment. And French goes on my list of things I want to explore for me. This is how I begin to follow the buzz. If you look really fit or strong, or you've climbed a mountain to see a sunrise and I get the buzz from that, it's on my list now. It's not, I'm not putting myself down that I can't do it. I want to experience that. Now, it might be a different way that you've experienced that because I mightn't be able to physically do it the same way, but it's the experience that I'm after that I'm allowed to now. I'm following the buzz. I want that feeling. I'm now getting a list of what my inner compass is directing me to do, whether that be work, people, relationships, adventure. It's not, do you think I'm going to get a buzz if I go, oh, you watch TV all night, every night for 6 days a week? That's nice. I'm not going to get a buzz from that. I really don't think I'm going to get a buzz, but maybe once a week, but not the whole time. So it's being able to recognize now we're using this as a way to positively compare ourselves to other people to find a buzz, which means we get to inspire people, which is so exciting when we begin to inspire people because we allow ourselves to be inspired. A totally different place to live from. See, I get excited. I'm so passionate about that one. Listening to your inner voice or your first reaction. So, when someone comes in and says, oh, I'm about to go to Europe, or I'm about to do this, or I found something new, or I'm anything, you will get a feeling. And it could be, oh, they're so lucky, or I'd love to do that, or it's not fair, or that feeling means something. Review it. And review it in a way that you're in the square because you're collecting buzzers. You need to collect buzzers to make sure that you know where you're going to go in life. Because this is your inner compass that's telling you where to go. It's not ever, ever going to lead you astray. It's only going to lead you to the next thing that gives you the next buzz, which is how we're meant to live. Understanding your patterns without judgment. So if you find that you're in a pattern of, lots of people come in with substance patterns. So it could be I eat the pantry, I drink the wine at night or the beer at night, I am in the same routine of the TV, or, I'm in a pattern without judging again. It's like, why am I stuck in this? What does that mean for me? And that's like, what am I avoiding? Am I avoiding, talking? Am I avoiding how I feel? And it's like trying to break the cycle with something new in there. So even if, say, your partner was, watching TV every night, or alcohol or something, break the cycle with one thing. Don't overdo it. One thing. You find, hey, and if you find it hard to really support yourself in breaking the cycle, join a book club. That's another really good way to do something. You're making yourself accountable. So you can phone a friend. It's like, I want to go for a walk once a week on a Monday, or I want to try sip and paint class, or I just want to try something else. Allow experiences to filter in for you, because when we start bringing experiences in, we get to absolutely resonate to see if that feels right for us or not. Make sense? So it's like, give yourself permission to have more life than you have right now. Find your deserted island. So your deserted island, this is how, for me, it's really difficult when we were talking about it before, how to find your inner compass when you have all the responsibilities, all the expectations, all the people. So to me, finding a deserted island is almost like, I'm trying to do life with all the people in my boat. Remember, I was talking before. If I'm trying to find the direction I'm going to swim to shore, if everyone's in my boat, I can't hear myself clearly, because I'm second guessing everything, because I don't want to upset people. I don't want to muck it up. I don't want to let them down. I don't want to kill anyone. I don't want to get it wrong. So because of that, I can't connect in. So the easiest way to find your inner compass or connect really for absolute real back to yourself is to become alone. Find a way that you get alone. So you throw everyone else out of your boat, literally throw them out of your boat, so you're by yourself. Another example I use is you make a bubble and you pop yourself in a bubble and you push everyone else out of the bubble. And in that bubble, it's like, you fill your bubble with a color if you need. What am I going to do? What feels right to me? What's my truth? It doesn't mean we have to act on it right this second. We're just trying to find what it is. We don't have to do, because people overguess and go, yeah, but I can't. It's like, we're not there. We're just finding what it is. What is the feeling that you want? The other one I do that I find really effective for people is, if you right now, shut your eyes and you imagine yourself on a deserted island, and not one other person is ever, ever, ever allowed to be there. They can't come. It's you. You're alone. No one's ever coming. You can find what your answer is. The minute you invite someone else to that island, you'll probably change what your answer is, because, again, of all the don't want to upset people, and, I'm overwhelmed with responsibilities and expectations. But if you can kick them off long enough, you're going to find what you would do. Now, that's the first truth in finding. This is what this workshop is about, is how to find my inner compass. The next step is how we support ourselves keeping those decisions that we make, is because then it becomes complicated, as we know, which is why we keep doing all the other workshops and all of the work that we need to do to support the decisions. But you need to know what that feeling is for you first, and that's how we get it. It's like, you have to make other people disappear, because we can't find our truth when we've got so many people that we're going to connect with, or that we're trying to support and look after. So an example of that, or how to, to absolutely reinforce that, is when people go overseas and travel by themselves, particularly, or say on a trip that it's a limited number of people, you genuinely become a more authentic version of you, because you don't care what other people think, because you're actually not going to see them again. And people say that. It's such a freeing experience. They come back loving who they are. They feel really, really connected to themselves. I see that so often. And it's because I got rid of everyone off my island. And then I lived with people, but I didn't live in a way that I held that I don't want to upset anyone, let anyone down, be responsible. So traveling overseas, if you've traveled overseas and you had that feeling, that's the feeling that you connect back into. That's your absolute truth. And it's living from your inner compass, that's where we're coming back to. So rebuilding your trust in yourself is kind of the last little bit of that. So now that we've worked out how we kind of find the feeling, it's trusting the feeling. It's like, how do we find out when it's really difficult, what are the ways that we can trust that feeling? So when you're talking to people about what's going on, make sure, here's a beautiful tip. It's like we talk to everyone because we're trying to listen to ourselves. So I might have something going on and I can't work it out. How do I feel? I can't work out how I feel. So I'm going to find someone that I can nut it out with, which we all do, agreed? What happens is I make sure that the people that you talk to are the ones that listen to you to ask questions. So it's like, what's that mean? How's that feel for you? What are your options? What could you do? What's going to happen after that? All those kind of questions, I'm now speaking to someone that's helping me listen to myself, because that's what we call holding space. It's like, so really, if you're trying to nut something out, think of the person that you want to speak to about it, because you're going to speak to them so you can listen to the truth, what's in here for you. If we go to someone, people come and, we go to the same people, we go to, not going to throw mums under the bus again and that, but people that have agendas for us. So say someone really wanted you to finish uni and medical school because it's really important, I really wanted you. You're not liking what you're doing, it doesn't feel right, so you try to nut it out. If I go to the person that really super wanted me to go there, I'm not going to be able to listen to me. I'm going to get the feedback that they want. And when they give me the feedback that they want, they're going to do it in quite a strong way. So now not only can I not hear them, I'm going to double down in the not listening to myself, because I'm going to have guilt and I don't want to upset them. So now I'm going to, again, make a decision that's not based on my inner compass. It's based on people pleasing or guilt or not upsetting someone. Makes sense? So the beautiful check-in is really make sure when you want to talk something through, think about who you're going to talk it through with, because you need to find the space to listen to you. That's why you're talking through it. Another beautiful rebuilding trust in yourself is take note of the books you're reading, the movies that you're watching at the moment, and the characters in the books and the movies that you fall in love with, because they will be telling you your story right now. So what's happening in the characters and what they're working on and their strength, or it's telling you something about you. It's a little hint. It's why we resonate, because you could have read that book years ago and not liked that. Remember how you do that and you watch and go, oh, I really like that now. You're like, yeah, because life has changed, because you're in a different position. You're trying to, so we are actually very smart at trying to find our inner compass, but we don't realize we're doing it. So it's like, find the people that can help you listen to yourself. Really tune into what podcasts are you listening to? What music do you like? What are the words in the music? We have got little signs, hints in our life that's happening that we're not connecting with. And so just take that little moment to kind of check in to see what it is. The same with our bodies that we were talking about before. The little niggles mean something. The little cough, the headache, the sore foot, the sore throat, the sore something has a little hint that we talk about in body talk. It's going to bring you back to being able to connect the dots for you. The next beautiful thing about rebuilding trust in yourself is the absolute fact that you're on your own timeline. So the truth is there is actually no expectations. And if we can put them down, it means that you're here in your own timeline just for you. You don't have to have anything done by any specific time. It's just an experience of you trying to understand yourself as you go through life. So disconnecting from expectations and responsibilities is a really quick way, which is similar to being on our deserted island, is a really quick way to try to connect back in. So it's like, what's blocking you from being able to hear you will always be expectations and responsibilities. We'll kind of whiteboard them out so they're not there. Listening to the inner voice in our self-talk. So it's being able to change our inner voice. There's something I talk about, if you wrote down what you said to yourself for a whole day, if you wrote it all down, point by point, it's like, I'm this, I shouldn't have, why didn't I, all that. You wrote it all down and you rang your friend at the end of the day and you said, So my partner said this to me today, and you read that list out of what you said to yourself. Your friend would say to you, oh my God, you need to get out of that abusive relationship. Yes or no?
Yeah.
100%. And this is the inner voice. That's not our inner voice. That inner voice comes from the ladder and judgment and not being good enough. Our inner voice really wants to come from, you're on your own timeline. You know, you're in your square. You're doing it the way you need to do it. Everything is in its perfect time. You're exactly where you're meant to be physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for you to understand yourself. We need to make our voice come from there, because the voice we're listening to isn't our true voice. It's the judged voice that comes from everyone else's expectations. It might be your grandma, it's a mixture of all your experiences that made you not feel good enough. So be very, very aware of the voice that you're listening to, because that voice is going to really quickly disconnect you from your inner compass and really lead you to an abusive relationship with yourself. And they're pretty hard to get out of. Practical check-in exercise. So this is in the notes, and I wrote a little quickie as well, because sometimes we need the quickie one. But there's 9 steps in our practical check-in exercise. So how to check into your inner compass: slow down. First one, slow down and breathe and come back to present time. Number 2 in our list, perspective. So nothing is wrong with you. You're not broken. So many people think something's wrong with me and I'm broken and I'm doing it wrong and I'm not good enough. You are not broken. You are exactly where you're meant to be in your story. So breathe and come back to nothing's wrong with you. Get grounded, number 3. You came here to learn about how to love and support you. That's the absolute truth. You came here to learn how to love and support you. Not all the other things that we do, just how to get you through this little journey of life that you're on. So find your alone space, which is go inside your bubble, go to your deserted island, because in this place there are no rules, there are no responsibilities, there are no people, and there are no expectations. It means it's just you. Then consciously connect with you. By that I mean, remember that you need a chocolate muffin. You want the chocolate muffin. Absolutely want the chocolate muffin, which means you're so present to you and your needs now without the judgy voice. You're there for you, because, dear God, you're not leaving this space without a chocolate muffin ever again. Listen, number 6, listen to what feels right inside your alone space. So when we're in that, we can find what feels right, because no one else, remember, no one else is coming in. You can find what feels right and anchor this in as your truth. This is your answer. Now, we will have to come back to present time in your present life, because that's the truth. So when we anchor number 7, you anchor this in your truth as your answer. Note that somewhere, because my answer is I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. I'm not, it's a yes or a no, or this is what I need, or I'm not doing that course, or I'm traveling here, or I'm whatever I'm doing. I know my answer. When you come off the deserted island and bring it back to present time, at least you know your answer. Because the next bit, which isn't today, is it's like make an empowered choice that supports your truth. And that is when we live from our inner compass. Today we're finding our inner compass. So living from your inner compass has a little bit more strategy behind it. But that's where you find the ways to support you being able to do this. At the moment, we're bringing back the truth of the answer that we made back into present time, because we now know what it is. I know what my inner compass wants to do. And so then we're going to work on how do I make that empowered choice for me. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The next bit.
Yep.
So the quickie part of that, so just say we don't have to go through all of that because sometimes we can do a quicker check-in. It's like pause and breathe. Ask yourself my favorite question. What do I need right now? What do I need right now? And then listen and honor the answer without overthinking it and without seeking approval. So often it's the first answer that comes in. What do I need right now? I need to stop. I need a rest. I need to not keep doing this. I need to have some space. I need to go for a walk. I need to eat. I need to sleep. What do I need right now is always your truth. And then we absolutely shatter that. So it's like, do it quick. It's like, what do I need right now? And that answer is you honor the answer. Honor the answer. So the transformation, living from your inner compass, what happens when you realign? When we realign and we can live from that space, which is when we get the confidence to be able to make those choices, you have confidence in making decisions that feel right. Tick. Like, how light does that statement feel? I have confidence in myself in making decisions that feel right to me. How often have we said that in our life? Would it not be amazing to be able, I'm really confident in my decision-making ability. I make decisions that feel right to me. Oh, tick is a goal. It's absolutely a goal. We have clarity in what truly matters to us. I know it really truly matters. I'm so clear on knowing that. And then a deep sense of peace and presence and my direction. I have a deep sense of I know where I'm going. And if I don't know exactly where I'm going, I know that I'm following the buzz. So the direction that I'm going in is the absolute right direction for me. It might not have the outcome of what it's going to look like, but I'm following the buzz. Imagine how good that feels. So transformation, living in a compass, is you're absolutely free from the self-doubt and the people-pleasing. So we learn to trust that I have needs. I learn to know that I'm absolutely not allowed to, but I'm going to give myself a chocolate muffin. Not waiting to get it. I'm out that door. I'm tackling that girl down that had the chocolate muffins. She's in a headlock in the corridor, and I'm making sure that chocolate muffin is in my hands. Or I'm wrestling her before she gets in the room. There's no way she's leaving without me having that muffin. And I'm setting boundaries from a place of self-awareness and empowerment. How beautiful is that? Setting boundaries. Setting boundaries isn't negative. Setting boundaries is beautiful because it means that I'm also giving you an opportunity to do something differently your way. That means that there's more people that we can rely on. We make better teams. I can help people learn how to support and help me as well. So a couple of notes I wrote is, when we're changing how we support ourselves, it will impact our relationships. Don't be scared of that. It's meant to, because number one, remember the chocolate muffin story. You 100% need you to be in your life. And number two, the beautiful part of that, by us stepping into live by our own compass, we're now teaching others to live by their own compass. That's a massively powerful thing if we can do nothing else in our life. That we remind people that that's the foundation and the truth for where we come from. If you think about it, the world is a very unhappy place a lot of the time. And the only way that we can truly impact the world is to be the most authentic version of us. The self-loving, self-supported version of us. So when someone else can see and feel the genuine, authentic connection that you have to yourself, it's absolutely inspirational. People want what you have. They can feel it. When you feel someone that lives by their inner compass, you can feel it. There's a peace, the peace we were talking about. There's a peace, there's a clarity, there's not a panic, there's a calmness about them that we want. Like, we want that. And so this is why. So you become an inspiration for them. It's like they get to check out your square. because they'll be checking out your square. You're not on a ladder, so you've got to let them check out your square, and they're going to feel the buzz. They can't take that from you, but they're going to want to find that for themselves. That's 100% how we make the world a better place. So the more that we can come back to really helping ourselves to begin to rely on our inner compass to live, the more we're going to help other people be able to do the same thing. How nice is that when you think about it? It's a really beautiful concept to connect with. So finding your inner compass means I make time to check in with me. So this is how we now live. How do I feel? What do I need? My check-in. I check in with me. How do I feel? What do I need? I listen to my story, which is my life story of how I've got here, my patterns, my body, and the answers that resonate with me and feel right. Which is, you know when it resonates. It just feels so good. Such a powerful feeling when we're connected with something that resonates. I recognize and follow the buzz, and I'm curious about where my life is going to take me. I don't have a panic. I don't have a worry. I'm curious because I'm following the buzz. I know that I'm fine. I have a sideways ladder, so I don't judge me, and I certainly don't let me be judged in any negative way by myself or other people. I'm very conscious of my inner voice and what it says to me. There's a bigger picture, and my experiences, every experience I have is there for a reason. I trust my higher self has a plan. Oh, and I trust my higher self has a plan. That's what finding your inner compass means. Can you imagine if we all lived from that space? Be a totally different experience that we would have. So a cute little challenge for you as a takeaway today is what is one decision that I can make today, every day, that honors my inner compass? So it's that's your check-in. That can be, what is one decision that I can make today that honors my inner compass? Or what is one thing I can do differently today that connects me with my inner compass? So again, instead of the TV kind of abandonment of self, it's what can I do that's going to connect to me? It could be just picking a card, it could be lighting a candle, it could be having a coffee outside in the morning, it could be going for a walk at lunch, it could be any of the things, but it's the check-in to go, well, what do I feel? How do I feel? What do I need right now? Really need to feel spaced, freer, listen to what do I need? And that list is ours to create, and that's the most beautiful thing. So where to from here? This is your invitation to stay connected to learning about how to find your inner compass with me and the people in our workshop. So there's a couple of quick things that I will talk about. There is a workshop that we do every fortnight. As I said, this workshop is number 51. Every fortnight we hang out and we pick a topic and we unpack that exactly like we did tonight. And we will keep doing that as long as people want to do that. So we cover all kinds of things. The workshop, if you subscribe to that every fortnight, it is a subscription membership, and it comes with discussions. It comes with a little group that we have. We do a book club, all kinds of things that is going to help you just continue on your journey to discover more about yourself. There also is an option that you can just jump into any workshops that we do as a one-off. So I'll send you links to both of those options. If you want a big deep dive, there is a retreat that we are doing in Bali in June for 5 days, which is called Come Back to You, which is a really intensive yet beautiful self-supported journey where we really have a look at how we got stuck in life and how we're going to support ourselves out of it. So that's a retreat in Bali. And the special I have today to offer for you is a bundle. So as I said, there's 50 workshops available. I bundled some of them up into really specific ways that you can get to know yourself. And the first bundle that we have is called the All About Me bundle, which is a beautiful follow-on for finding your inner compass. And in that bundle, it includes the body talk, which explains how our body holds emotions and what they mean and what illnesses mean in our body. Or the next one is about get to know yourself. So it talks about your position in the family and what that means and the other things that come with that. The next one in that bundle is beyond our words. So it talks about the words that we use and what that actually means and how that resonates with us and how we can unpack that and look at that a different way. And the last one, last but not least in that bundle, so all of that is included in the bundle that's on special at the moment that you'll get a link to, is Stop the Mean Girl. So it talks about that voice that we were talking about in this workshop, about how we can stop that and how we can reframe that to be able to have a better relationship with ourselves. So that's the little offers for me that will be sent to you in the next few days. Thank you so much for being part of this workshop. I am really, really glad that you attended. I love doing this. It's my absolute passion to help people understand themselves. So I'm going to send you a big hug and love. And I'm going to remind you that the answers that you seek have always been and always will be within you. So love to all. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time.